The Democrats are in quite a bit of trouble. And of course, that is they have no bench. There's no one up and coming to really take over the mantle to be leaders in the party, right? Who's going to be the nominee in 2028? Now, of course, that's 4 years away, and there's a lot of time for things to develop. But if you look over here, we recently had a poll from Echelon Insights that basically says Kamala Harris, with 41% among Democrats, is who they want to run again for president, right? The next person down is Gavin Newsom with 8%, Josh Shapiro with 7%, Pete Buttigieg with 6%, Tim Walz with 6%, Ocasio-Cortez with 4%, right? They have no one lined up who can take over and be formidable at this point, because all of these people are leftists who are not going to be popular among the general population. I mean, you could make the argument that Josh Shapiro could appeal to both sides being governor out there in Pennsylvania, but Gavin Newsom is beating him, and there's no way he's going to fly in any place other than blue states, okay? And Pete Buttigieg, the man that disappeared for 2 months and no one seemed to notice, okay? This is who they have, and as I mentioned, things could change, but it is not looking like a bright future if they have to go back and fall on Kamala Harris yet again. So what I want to talk about today is Ana Kasparian and the Young Turks really laying into the Democrat Party for making some really bad decisions. So before we continue, please like and comment on this video so we can break through the algorithms. Here we go.
Some senior party officials said to be open to Kamala Harris running again in 4 years. Politico asking the question, are Democrats coconut pilled? Where are you on this future?
Well, that was Fox News anchor Bill Hemmer throwing to Lindy Li, who's the DNC Mid-Atlantic Regional Chair. Probably not for long, because she is about to devastate Kamala Harris.
This is not what America wants. November 5th was a decisive defeat for the Democratic Party. She lost every single swing state. It wasn't a squeaker like it was in 2016. This was a resounding defeat. And right now, Kamala Harris is indulging in delusions of running for governor of California, possibly in 2026, or even president again in 2028. America has said this is not what we don't want to be coconut pilled. We do not want Kamala Harris. We don't want failed border policies. And I feel like I'm liberated and I can finally tell the truth that the Democrats completely failed on the border. Title 42 was a tremendous mistake, and no one is willing to say that. And you shouldn't be called bigoted or racist because you want strong borders for the United States. And you should be able to say that the economy was ailing under the Biden-Harris administration, that price hikes did indeed happen, but they denied that for the first 3 years of the administration. And when they finally did something, it was too late.
Now, look, Lindy Li is a bundler for the Democratic Party. She raised a lot of money for Kamala Harris's campaign, and she feels that she was lied to about how she was performing in the polling, lied to by the Harris campaign about the likelihood of beating Donald Trump. And so she's been making the media rounds, and you can tell that she is really soured on the Democratic Party.
Yes, so Lindy Li, of course, is famous for saying there's a stink of failure around the Democrats, and I can't blame her. She makes some very good points. Yeah, you weren't allowed to talk about the border being a disaster if you were on the left. You weren't allowed to talk about the economy being a disaster if you were on the left. And of course, you weren't allowed to talk about Joe Biden having dementia if you were on the left. All of these things were completely clear to the American people, but the Democrats had to dig in their heels and close their eyes and say, nope, nothing to see here. Everything is totally fine. Please vote for us anyway.
But someone who hasn't soured on the Democratic Party is Joy Behar, yet even she has some pretty harsh words for the Democratic Party and, more importantly, the Kamala Harris campaign. Take a look.
The thing the Democrats do that most politicians do, I think the Republicans did it back in the day with John McCain. It's like, it's your turn. Kamala's in position. It's her turn.
Yeah.
Joe Biden, he did not retire early enough so that there could be an open, what do they call it? Primary. Exactly. Thank you. That's a simple word. And yet, there would have been an open primary. Yeah. We would have seen what was out there a little bit more. It's just as bad as what they're doing with Trump, which is this loyalty oath that everybody has to take and bow down and kiss his ring. Mm-hmm. It's not about who's the best person. It's about who do you feel is in the next in line to do the job with the Democrats and with the Republicans.
Obviously implying, and this would be a correct statement, that Kamala Harris was not the best person for the job or the best candidate to run against Trump.
Anyway, so now, speaking of bitter, though, I'm a little bit bitter about The View. Because when we said Biden was too old, they were like, how dare you, right? When we said there should be an open primary, they said, how dare you? When we said, hey, the Democrats are asking for loyalty oaths and we're not supposed to be the authoritarian party, we're supposed to be more open. They're like, how dare you? Now all of a sudden the View is like, oh my God, you know what? Why didn't anybody tell us Biden was too old?
Yeah, they'll go back
Okay,
to the
come
loyalty
on.
oaths. Believe me,
Of course,
they will.
the View is
Yeah.
the masters of loyalty oaths. If you don't pledge for whoever is the establishment corporate robot, they'll take your head off on the View. So, Joy, I appreciate your new opinion, but it's very, very different than your old opinion, which is like a minute ago.
So Cenk is actually speaking some sense here, right? The View was all in for Joe Biden. The View was all in for Kamala Harris. They had them both on the show in just these fawning interviews, giving them softball questions that, of course, were completely flubbed. But now, of course, Joe Biden, you waited too long. We should have had an open primary. Then we would have beat Donald Trump. Never mind the economy, the open border, the world stage. So, of course, now they're coming around, but only at the end of the journey. Now, what's really funny here is watching Ana Kasparian and Cenk really go at it over Kamala Harris's viability.
By the way, there's one thing I disagree here. I think Kamala Harris will probably win in a cakewalk for governor.
No!
Okay.
No! What are you doing? What are you doing?
No, I'm telling you the reality, whether you like it or not.
What are you doing?
Democratic voters in California love to obey. And so
Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. I'm going to move, Cenk. I'm going to quit my job.
I'm
going to quit my job and I'm going to move.
I'm not saying I'm in favor of it. I'm telling you what's like if the Democratic Party said, we anoint Kamala Harris, a giant percentage of Democrats in California would go, yes, we obey. We will take the loyalty oath. It doesn't matter how bad she is.
This state cannot survive another incompetent Democrat leading it.
Leading it. Democrat like Kamala.
No, we just can't. Okay, anyway, so people are egging her on. Okay, apparently she's in a wait and see mode. How about you wait and see your way out of public life and go do what you're supposed to do. Go work in the private sector, go do the lobbying thing, whatever it is, but do not run as governor of California. Yeah. Do not.
So look, here's the thing that they still won't say that is definitely true, which is that she was a disaster. She was a terrible candidate, but it's still to this day with all their little, oh, golly gee, I wish somebody would have told us, right? But they're not saying the core thing, which is she was a talking robot and she could not answer normal questions like a human being. She had her scripts ready and she would just take the script, her talking points, and match it to any question that you asked her. It was Sarah Palin-esque. Yes, I said it, and yes, she definitely deserved it. And no, we should want no part of her for any campaign at all.
Oh my goodness, I am completely torn. I love seeing the Democrat infighting, right? Kamala Harris is the worst. She needs to disappear. If only she would have had more time. She needs to make a comeback, right? Which one is it? Right? So yes, Cenk is actually correct. Kamala Harris should bow out and not show her face again. But as he mentions, the Democrats in California are going to rank and file vote for blue no matter who. So if Kamala Harris actually manages to win some type of primary in California for governor, then of course she's going to march into victory, right? And as Ana Kasparian points out, a raging leftist in charge of California is just going to make it even worse. And I hope that for the sake of all of California, it won't happen. But it will. All right. I've seen into the future, and that's exactly what's going to be going on. Okay. Now, while I fully appreciate the journey that Ana Kasparian has been on, she still supports the left. She's still going to end up voting Democrat. Maybe she'll go more independent. Maybe she'll write people in. Who knows in the future? But the same party you're essentially backing are the people that gave you Kamala Harris, Joe Biden, Pete Buttigieg, Gavin Newsom. All the things you are complaining about, all the things you're fighting against is representative in that one party. So get out of it. Leave it all behind and make the change, of course, to the conservative side, the side that actually enjoys discussion, the side that actually enjoys science and debate and reason, because it sure as crap ain't on the left and hasn't been for a long time. So thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, and stay safe out there, people, because they're coming after you.